called the cops because I looked suspicious. I became his lawyer. It happened when I was 16, the first time at least. I was walking home from my friend Malik's place, hoodie on, earbuds in, hands in my pockets because it was cold. It wasn't even dark yet, just one of those quiet evenings where everything feels still. I was 3 blocks from home when the squad car pulled up. No lights, no sirens, just the slow, menacing crawl of a predator that doesn't need to run. 2 officers got out, one white, one not. The white one spoke first. "Where you headed, son?" I pulled out an earbud. "Home." "Where's home?" I told him. He tilted his head. "Got any ID?" I blinked. "I'm 16, I don't carry it around." He asked me to lift my shirt, said it was for officer safety. They patted me down, asked what I was doing in the neighborhood and why I looked so nervous. I told them I lived there, had my school ID, backpack on, nothing illegal, but that didn't matter. They said someone had called about suspicious behavior, that someone had described a tall black male wearing a hoodie, as if that wasn't half the kids in town. Eventually they let me go. No apology, no explanation, just a warning to be more aware of how you present yourself. I walked the rest of the way home with my fists clenched and my music off. When I told my mom, she hugged me so tight I thought her ribs might crack, but she didn't look surprised, just scared, resigned. I started paying attention after that, not just to cops, but to who called them, who got nervous when I walked by, who clutched their purse in elevators, who hit the lock button on their car a little too loud when I passed. I didn't grow up hating cops. I didn't grow up hating white people. I grew up understanding that some of them saw me as a problem, one to be watched, questioned, neutralized. So I studied. I read everything I could about civil rights law, about wrongful stops, about qualified immunity. I stopped playing football to focus on debate. I started writing essays and eventually got a scholarship to a state school, then law school, then the bar. By 29, I was a licensed civil rights attorney. My first big case came 2 years later. A small firm out in the suburbs needed outside counsel on a housing discrimination case. The client was a white homeowner being sued for racial targeting. They'd allegedly called the police multiple times on neighbors who looked out of place. When I read the incident reports, my stomach twisted. Suspicious male walking slowly, dark hoodie, unknown intent, appears to be casing houses. I read the name on the complaint, Daniel Ridgway. It didn't click at first, but when I saw the address, I knew. That was my street. The same street I'd been stopped on, the same night, same time, same description. It was him. He was the one who called the cops on me when I was 16, and now he needed a lawyer. The firm brought me in to negotiate a settlement. When I walked into the mediation room, Ridgway was already there. Older, balder, khakis too tight, hands folded like he was the victim. He didn't recognize me. Not when I sat down, not when I introduced myself, not when I handed him the terms of the agreement. I doubt he even looked at me. Not really. Just another black man in a suit, speaking calmly, controlling the room. We settled out of court. I got his signature, collected my file. As I stood to leave, he extended his hand. "Appreciate your help," he said. "You were professional, not like your kind of people." I looked at his hand for a long second, then I nodded, picked up my briefcase, and walked out the door. No handshake, no reminder, no need. On the train ride home, I thought about telling someone. My mom, Malik, a law school friend. I drafted the story in my head a dozen times. Each version ended the same. Me standing up, pointing a finger, saying something powerful, something final, but I didn't. Because the truth is, I didn't become a lawyer to teach Daniel Ridgway a lesson. I became a lawyer because I survived him. Because I know there are 100 kids walking home right now, hoodies up, music in, heads down, just trying to get home without being mistaken for a threat. And maybe one of those kids will get stopped. And maybe, years from now, one of those cops, or one of those callers, will sit across from them, in a room they no longer control. That's justice. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind, the kind that shows up in a suit, signs the papers, and leaves without saying a word.